And we are back. So, as usual, it's time for part two, where we get down to the nitty gritty of talking about all of our favorite sports stuff. And again, shout out to TJ Barnes for coming on the show because that was awesome.
Awesome.
And I don't know, Kyle, it was kind of a boring week. Not a lot happened this last week in sports.
Oh yeah, completely boring. Nothing at all
Yeah,
happened.
yeah, nothing. I know. I heard there was like this. There was this big event on Wednesday. Like a bunch of NBA players like changed teams out of nowhere, and there's also this game on Sunday that no one really paid attention to. What was it called?
I think it was called the Super Bowl. I could
The
be
Super
wrong.
Bowl. All right. Oh, right. The Super Bowl. So Super Bowl 56 was this weekend, and that was definitely better than last year.
Hell of a game.
It was it was great. Kylie, what'd you think of it?
I thought it was great. If you watched the last episode, you heard me say I changed my pick from Bengals to Rams.
You were smart.
Because I was smart. I have to say. That defensive line was not getting there at the beginning of the game, really, but at the end they sure as hell came back and they they made the Bengals put offensive line on their entire draft board. That's the only people they're looking at.
Yeah, it's I joked with, so we have a coworker that we both work with who loves football. Loves football claims. And he and I both agreed that if the Rams winning saved football. If the Rams defense hadn't stepped up and exposed the Bengals, Joe Burrow has been sacked 19 times this offseason, during the postseason. Excuse me, we're not at the offseason yet.
It was 51 times this season.
51 times this season, 19 times in the postseason, which shattered the existing record. And of course, me, having to be me, looked that up. The previous holder of that record, Wade Wilson, who was the Vikings quarterback in 1987, was sacked 14 times in the postseason in just 3 games.
Oh my God.
Burrow got sacked 19 times. It's brutal. It's finally the Bengals are understanding that you can't pick that. Well, yes, you can gamble on position players and hope that they get you far, which they did in this case. At the end of the day, if you're going up against a defense full of future Hall of Famers, it's not going to matter.
Yeah, this is major hindsight bias. I'm saying that right now. But I really don't think they would have gotten this far without Jamar Chase.
Probably not.
But is that going that far worth Joe Burrow's future health? I don't think so.
Well, he sprained his MCL in the game.
Yeah, he did.
And the game itself was weird. It was like a defensive duel, but disguised but had enough good offensive. It was the perfect type of football game. Enough defense, so it wasn't two teams just scoring at will like Eagles Patriots was, but enough offense so it wasn't a boring slog like Rams Patriots.
That's the first thing I thought of.
Yeah, I mean it was a great game. And it's a great redemption for the Rams. They were so hyped coming into Super Bowl 53, and they scored 3 points. Well, here they are. They played a great game. Cooper Kupp, MVP. He had himself an excellent performance. I think most people are in agreement that it should have gone to Aaron Donald, but it's hard to ignore Kupp's 2 touchdowns and the clutchness of his receptions on that final drive and how he was able to just almost single-handedly pull the Rams offense, which had been dormant all second half. He's like, come on, we're going to go score a game-winning touchdown. Come on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, I'm also on the Donald for MVP train, but it'd be nice if they had a defensive and offensive because clearly there needed to be 2 this year. But I mean, it was a great game overall. The unfortunate thing is OBJ did tear his ACL, so
there were a lot of injuries.
Especially the OBJ was the worst when you saw him crying, and it hurt me to see. But everybody, a lot of the players are being vocal about the turf and how it needs to go.
Yeah. Look, I get we want to do synthetic turfs because it's better for grounds crews. They don't have to worry about the mud and stuff, but that's football, bro. Like
that's all about football.
If you don't have a soft ground that can absorb those hits or somebody making an awkward step on a leg, like you need that.
Then
I
or
don't know how the
something better.
I don't know how the NFL survived all those years when they did it on original AstroTurf. Have you seen have you seen those old highlights of NFL games from like the 70s and 80s when they played on AstroTurf?
I'm not sure I want to.
It's basically like they're playing on a tennis court. It's brutal.
Imagine getting tackled on that thing.
Oh, players used to say, imagine when it's cold. There's a game like 1975 AFC Championship, the Raiders and the Steelers. The AstroTurf was completely frozen over because, the Steelers grounds crew, knowing the Raiders were in town, were like, let's not cover the turf and see what happens. And, it was complete ice. Players were falling on it, and it's like falling on concrete. So it could be worse.
It could be worse, but it could also be significantly better.
That's
one
true.
of the funnier things is Jalen Ramsey let up 160 yards, the most he's ever allowed, which is something we wanted to see Ramsey on Jamar Chase. And
we definitely did.
We did see that. Ramsey actually did win quite a bit of battles. But, obviously 160 yards is...
And wasn't most of those yards taken from that touchdown at the start of the third quarter when there was that no call on the face mask?
Probably.
Yeah. I want to just point out one thing that's not in our notes, but I do want to address this. Towards the end of that game, this was a very clean game. There were only two penalties the entire first game, which was great. Right at the end, of course, a lot of flags started to fall in that last drive. And, of course, whenever the referees get involved, social media decides to go, oh, ref ball is ruining this game. One of my favorite sports YouTubers, Urinating Tree, his reaction to the Super Bowl, he released like a 2-minute video basically saying the NFL is doomed because referees control everything. And I'm like, dude, this wasn't ref ball. The Bengals defense was tired, frustrated, and were making mistakes. You can't, if it's a bad call, it's a bad call. And there have been plenty of bad calls. And the taunting rule, which actually wasn't as impactful this season as I thought it would be at the first half of the season, that's all dumb. Yeah. But at the end of the day, you can't say every single penalty is ref ball.
No.
When it is, it's very obvious. But when a team just like the Bengals, they've gambled on fourth down so many times. They've been playing great, but now they're suddenly, after 2 quarters of them dominating, suddenly they're like, oh, we might lose this because the Rams have just driven down the field and they start making mistakes. That's not ref ball. That's a team getting careless in desperation.
Yeah, I mean, I am a Twitter addict. I scroll through Twitter all the time. And especially after the Super Bowl, I wanted to see what people said about it. And a lot of the people were saying for them, especially a lot of people who are very involved in the NFL, were saying, for me, they missed calls on both sides. I mean, they completely missed Jamar Chase, like ripping Ramsey's neck off. Or ripping Ramsey's head off his shoulders. I believe
that was T. Higgins, but yeah.
Was that Higgins?
Yeah, it was Higgins.
Jamar Chase. But
sorry, my OCD acted up. I was like, oh, I have to correct her.
No, definitely. Yeah, no. Okay, so it was Higgins basically tearing Jalen Ramsey's head off his freaking shoulders. They did not call that one. So, and I don't remember. I know they missed a penalty for the Rams, but they didn't call them a lot. And I was talking to, so they were saying that it was basically 1-1 or 0-0, and then they kept calling the penalties as they were happening at the end. And I was talking to my mom about this actually, and she said that I was saying that I like it when they're calling it towards the end. That way they don't have a missed call go in the favor of one of the teams, and that be the cause of the game. So I would rather them call actual penalties than miss penalties.
That's fair enough. I think outside of the complaining from social media, which you can just ignore by just not looking at it, that's what I usually do.
Exactly.
I think overall, great game. Great way to end what's been a crazy season.
Yeah. Great halftime show.
Oh, the halftime show was awesome.
Fantastic.
Halftime show. My dad, who usually isn't a huge fan of the halftime performances, especially last year when he was very confused. My dad was jamming when Eminem showed up.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone, that's the thing people need to understand about the halftime show. You have to find guys who are good entertainers.
Yeah.
And they did. Sometimes they find bands who may be good artists but aren't the best entertainers. Example, Maroon 5. But they nailed it out of the park. I was
50 coming down singing in the club.
That was awesome.
Amazing.
I was a bit concerned with Snoop Dogg wearing all blue because I remember because I just realized that that's Inglewood. That's in the Heart of Blood territory. Are you trying to start a gang war in the middle of the Super Bowl, Snoop? But regardless, it was a lot of fun.
Snoop.
It was so much fun. Where does the Super Bowl rank all time, Kylie?
For me, okay. This is definitely recency bias. I gotta put that out there. Let's see, because we have, for me, bias 100%, Eagles top.
Fair enough.
And then honestly, this is probably top 5 for me. Maybe
top 5.
Maybe I have to. I haven't thought about it. So
I've thought a little bit about this, and I personally would put this one about top. I'd say it's definitely top 15, top 20. I wouldn't put it top 10 because, I mean, the Super Bowl has been. Not that I'm trying to avoid recency bias, but the great Super Bowls all have either insane amounts of historical significance, or have defining moments that we can recite forever.
Yeah.
This game didn't really feel like there were any true defining moments. There were a lot of great moments. Aaron Donald, the 4th down stop, the Bengals' sudden change of momentum at the start of the third quarter. But at the end of the day, those aren't moments that are going to be cemented in NFL lore yet. We don't know that yet. But yeah, I put this one like 15th, 16th best overall. Great game. Definitely better than last year.
Oh yeah, by far. A quick thing to mention, I'm going to pull Mike Greenberg here for a second. I do have breaking news coming out from Twitter.
What's up?
We'll discuss that when it's relevant, but it's related to the MLB. So when we get to the MLB, we got something to talk about.
What's this breaking news? What is this? What is this breaking news? Let me introduce our next topic while I find this breaking news.
So, all right. So now, after the NFL or after the Super Bowl, we have notable thing to talk about in the offseason. The most notable thing for me personally, again, is Wentz could be cut or traded before March 19th, which is when his $15 million not signing bonus, but he gets $15 million March 19th. So he's expected to either be cut or traded by then, which breaks my heart. As someone who has defended Wentz since 2018-19, when he carried a practice squad to the division title.
It's a shame. It kind of feels like it kind of speaks to a bigger picture in the NFL right now, which is that teams are trying to go all in one year, and then if it doesn't work, blow it up. The Rams, they went all in this year. It worked, definitely. Now their future is uncertain. Same with the Bucks. They went all in last year, and now these last 2 seasons, they've reaped the rewards. But now the future's uncertain because of all these free agents. So, but it is a shame. I don't think I think when we talked to Eric from Colts coverage, I think we all agreed Carson Wentz wasn't the core problem. There were problems that needed to be addressed, but putting all the blame on Wentz is not the way to go.
And it was the same thing in Philly. I mean, from a first-hand experience being a Philly fan and, being all over Philly social media, it's just the Colts fan base seems to be reacting close to the same. Not as aggressive, obviously, but they feel the same way as the Eagles fans did after his last season in Philadelphia. But it's not. I mean, Wentz has had a lot of issues, obviously, and if you look at last year and you look at this year, from especially a stat perspective, which stats don't tell the whole story, but if you're looking especially at the stats, he has improved in every single possible way he could have. He was top 10 in every stat, and last year and his last year in Philadelphia and his first year in Philadelphia are still the only 2 seasons where he had more than 7 interceptions.
Yeah, I would agree there.
He might go to Tampa.
We got a lot of suitors. There was talk today on the Tampa Bay There was a talk today on the Tampa Bay channels that Deshaun Watson might be considering Tampa, which that one I'm not sure. I don't know about that one.
You trade Jameis for Watson?
We've already experienced having sexual predators as quarterbacks. I don't think we need another. Of course, alleged sexual predator. Alleged, but you get the point. One last thing about the NFL, and it's weird to not talk a lot about the NFL, but we should mention this. The Packers have said that they're going to go all in for Aaron Rodgers this offseason. I personally think that's a load of BS.
I don't, but they have no other. They don't have cap. They don't have any cap space to do anything with anybody. They screwed up every single draft. They drafted Jordan Love for some reason after giving Rodgers a massive extension like a year or two prior. And they've just done stupid things with the draft, and they don't have any money to do anything either. So they're going to try, but I don't think they're going to succeed. I guarantee you Rodgers is gone.
I think so too. I think he's made up his mind, especially after the playoff failure this year. I think Rodgers decided, I'm getting the hell out.
Yeah.
I wouldn't blame him for doing that.
Absolutely not. And I think when he said he is going to try to go on the Pat McAfee show and announce his decision.
Why does he got to go on the Pat McAfee show and announce his decision? Good for Pat McAfee, but
my fear is it could be the Colts. That's what people are saying.
Define people, though. Is it
just
like
stupid
experts?
Twitter people? No, not even close to experts.
There you go.
Yeah, no. But it's obviously just pure speculation. We're speculating at this point, so there's no grounds for anything. I'm not gonna be one for clicks, but it's people are saying fake blue check people are trying to use their check mark for clicks and saying they're gonna try to get Rodgers, and there was a sign. There's a billboard in Indy saying they want Rodgers and stuff like that. I mean, at this point, who knows? But I guarantee he's not coming back.
I guarantee that as well. Before we move on to the NHL, Kylee, the draft is several months away, but just quick mock draft. Who do you have? Way too early prediction. Who's going first overall?
Who's going first overall?
Yeah.
It's got to be. People are saying Evan Neal. And I have seen that in the latest mock drafts on Tankathon, McShay's latest mock draft. Everybody's saying Evan Neal to Jacksonville.
Fair enough. I'm going to stick with my gut and say either Hutchinson or Thibodeau goes first overall. But
that's who has been projected, but lately it's been Evan Neal. I don't know what changed, but apparently people are putting Evan Neal first now. Even McShay is putting Evan Neal first. But the thing that stayed the most consistent is Derrick Stingley to the Jets and Kenny Pickett to Carolina.
I want Kenny Pickett, though.
This is a very boring QB draft class, and I don't see any of the quarterbacks going as the franchise quarterback.
I would have been fine with the Bucs not looking at quarterbacks, but now it's like, oh, we kind of have to now, So
not unless Kyle Trask can lead you to the promised land.
This is gonna be a fun off season. Hockey. Let's talk about hockey. Hockey's the big thing now. This happened. We should talk a little bit about this, just a little bit. The last episode out, while we were talking about the Canadiens firing their coach, Les Canadiens found their replacement, Martin St. Louis, Tampa Bay legend, and so far he's done pretty good for them.
Yeah, I mean, aside from, I think it was this past week, the Devils kind of kicking their ass, but
they're getting there. They're starting to make some key pieces to bring in some young depth. Hopefully that helps. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Here's something interesting. Did you see the Brad Marchand incident?
Of course I did. He's had issues for so long, and everybody thought that he had been over that, and him doing this, getting suspended for 6 games.
All I'm gonna say is that it's It's another example of Boston still having that boys club attitude that they had in the 2010s.
Yep.
What is it? He slashed a goalie in the face with a stick?
I think either that or he hit the goalie in the back of the head or something like that.
Yeah. It's been a while since I saw the clip. I saw the clip earlier this week, and I haven't looked back on it. I probably should have, but that's kind of what I saw. Let's see. Other news from NHL. Claude Giroux wants to be traded to Colorado.
Thank God I'm not a Flyers fan.
Yeah. Imagine being a Flyers fan, and as the trade deadline approaches, here's your superstar from the past decade basically saying, like, I'd like to go play for the best team in hockey. What does that say about Philly?
Get that ring, Giroux.
There are some pretty huge games in both conferences this week, we should mention, that actually tonight, or I guess last night if you're watching this on Thursday when this comes out. Tonight, Carolina takes on Florida, and Colorado takes on Vegas. And interesting to note, Kylie, this shows you just how crazy the NHL landscape is. These matchups were supposed to be between the division leaders. That is until earlier this week when Tampa overtook Florida just yet last night for the Atlantic Division lead. Pittsburgh surged into the lead of the Metropolitan, overtaking Carolina, and the Flames came out of nowhere to take the lead in the Pacific over Vegas. So only Colorado is still leading the division out of those four juggernauts.
I think Jack Eichel is expected to play tonight.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to watch that.
Make his Knights debut. I think. I don't remember if it was tonight or if it's sometime this week, but I know it's like this week, which is extremely exciting because I also like the Knights a little bit. But
they're a fun team to root for.
They really are.
It's going to be sad when all of this early success in their history they've had finally comes crashing down, because it will. No team can say this isn't the 50s or 60s anymore. No team can have that much sustained success without eventually falling apart. But it's been fun watching this team that is essentially still an expansion team in its early seasons just continue to dominate.
I know.
I'd like to see them get back to another Stanley Cup, though.
Yeah.
They've been so close the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm. And as a Phillies fan, it's cool to see Bryce Harper's team succeed.
That is true.
Have one of his teams succeed because he's a Cowboys fan too. They ain't succeeding.
Why? Of course he's a Cowboys fan.
I know, right?
Of course he's a Cowboys fan.
I know.
A couple more things from the NHL to talk about before we get to the big thing we want to talk about, which is the NBA trade deadline.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Allen, the Vikings play-by-play guy, who everyone loves up there, is going to start doing the play-by-play for Minnesota Wild games. So
or instead of the.
I believe during the offseason. He'll stick with the Vikings. But as someone who thinks Paul Allen is fantastic and loves his commentary and how he just loses control of himself when he calls Vikings games, I cannot wait to see him do hockey.
I know, it's gonna be great. Hockey, it's so much fun. Like, hockey is such a great environment to be around, and just it's fun. And then when you have like a great announcer when you're at home watching it, it makes it watchable.
And Paul Allen's one of the best announcers out there.
Exactly.
I personally, when it comes to hockey announcers, I will always be on Team Doc for Doc Ermick. Or did I say that right? Yeah, I said that right. I probably said that right. We'll check in post and see if I said that right. I'll always be a fan of Doc, and I really like Kenny Albert's commentary now on the TNT broadcaster for the Stanley Cup. But I'm excited to see what Paul Allen does.
Yeah.
One last bit of news from NHL. Former player Ron Duguay is dating Sarah Palin.
Interesting.
Ron, all I'm going to say is get out.
I mean,
Get out. Let's move over to the court and shoot some hoops and talk about the trade deadline, because I know you, Kylie, have a lot to talk about with this one.
I got opinions on it.
So let's go trade by trade and just give our general thoughts. I'll save the best for last and the most impactful one. I'll start with some of the small ones. Rockets trade Daniel Tice to the Celtics for Dennis Schroeder.
I actually did not see that one. Wow. I know the Sixers were actually targeting him during the trade deadline. And I thought he was going to be bought out. I think he still is going to be bought out by the Rockets. So if he is bought out, or if he has been bought out already and I haven't seen it, I would like him to come to Philly. That'd be cool.
The Spurs have traded Derrick White to the Celtics for picks.
How many picks? I
believe 2.
Are they first or second round? Because probably not first round at all, but
probably somewhere in there. Most of these smaller trades, like almost all these trades, involve picks. But some of the smaller ones I didn't note. But let's see what else we got here. The Pacers have traded Torrey Craig to the Suns for Jalen Smith.
Interesting.
Charlotte traded Vernon Carey and Ish Smith to Washington for Montrezl Harrell.
Welcome to the DMV.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
I hope Montrezl Harrell enjoys Charlotte.
He has been. I saw a video of it of his first game there, and he's enjoying it.
Nice.
Makes me happy because I like Montrezl Harrell.
This was a big one. Speaking of DMV, Washington traded Spencer Dinwiddie and Davis Bertans to Dallas for the Unicorn, Tengus Pingus.
Welcome to the DMV, Tengus Pingus.
What did they do? Who the hell is Tengus Pingus? I never heard of Lativia. You son of a... That's the greatest video that's ever existed.
It's one of my favorites.
I love Knicks fans, but yeah, welcome Kristaps Porzingis to the DMV.
As someone who loves Mark Cuban, he has made 2 stupid trades. Like 2 utterly, like trading away Tengus Pingus is the most recent, and then a year and a half ago, you trade Seth Curry for Josh Richardson. Yeah,
what is it doing?
More on the but like these 2 trades are just atrocious. I mean, Richardson isn't even on the Celtics anymore when he traded him too. I don't even know where he is.
I will say Spencer Dinwiddie is a great player, but like, why you're giving up one of the best centers in the entire NFL? I almost said NFL.
In the NFL?
NBA, one of the best centers in the entire NBA for guys who way lower, way below where you would expect.
He just hasn't. So it's interesting and unfortunate that he's gone to a worse team, but he was just injury prone, and I understand wanting to move him, but for this, it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough of a package for him, in my opinion.
That's fair enough. Raptors trade Goran Dragic to the Spurs for Thad Young and Drew Eubanks.
Interesting one.
The Celtics traded PJ Dozier and Bol Bol to Orlando for picks. Now Bol Bol is injured, so
they literally just got Bol Bol though. Like I was like, oh cool, a Bol Bol on the Celtics. Oh nope, not anymore. Bol Bol to
He's
Orlando.
going to the Mickey Mouse organization.
Literally though.
Yeah. This one is complicated, so it's a 4-team trade. The Bucks traded Dante DiVincenzo, Trey Lyles, and Josh Jackson to Sacramento. Sacramento sent Marvin Bagley Jr. to Detroit. Detroit sent Rodney Hood and Semi Ojeleye to the Clippers. Clippers sent Serge Ibaka to the Bucks.
Yeah, that's a crazy one.
I'm sad to see Dante go. That's the biggest one for me.
But Serge Ibaka just reminds me of the 2019 Raptors. And the 2019 Raptors remind me of the stupid Kawhi Leonard shot against the Sixers in Game 7. So that's what that reminds me of. That's what Serge reminds me of. And I don't want to see him get a second ring.
Well, I'll have to wait and see with that.
Was there another trade that happened? I'm not sure.
This one apparently caused a lot of consternation. Let's see, what was it? The Nets traded James Harden and Paul Millsap to Philadelphia for Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, and 2 first-round picks. And Kylee, take the mic. Give us your thoughts, resident 76ers fan.
So, first of all, picks, don't care. Could not care less about the picks. I actually want them to send away whatever picks they need. I don't give a shit. Because right now we're in win-now mode. So, use the picks that you're going to get, win now. You're in Embiid's prime, his MVP season, win now. Take advantage of it. And so I don't care about the picks, but I am not the biggest fan of this trade. I want to start off by saying, Ben, I got to filter myself here. Can't go all Philly, but Ben,
Kindly go have sex with yourself.
pretty much. So here's the thing, and for people out there who are not Sixers fans who are shitting on Philly right now, here's what's actually happened. When he got drafted to the Sixers, we loved him from the beginning, and
that is true.
It was the process years and we finally got our guys, Embiid, Simmons, like that was our core, and we ran with it. And so last year, before Game 7, everybody was shitting on Simmons. Everybody. You know who wasn't? Sixers fans. Well, they weren't shitting as much. They weren't sending memes. They weren't doing any of that.
They weren't being what you would expect of Philly fans.
Weren't, exactly. We were not being stereotypical Philadelphia fans. We were defending him till the very freaking end. All we did was want him to shoot. My bad. Like, sorry for wanting a basketball player to shoot and make free throws. I mean, you get paid a max contract. I expect you to at least try to improve. You didn't. You didn't even care. You didn't try. So for you to turn your back on Philly, for the media to now start shitting on Philly for saying what everybody else has been saying for the past 3 years, I don't like that. I have very strong feelings about this.
No, it's good. It's good. This is a safe space. You can vent as much as you want.
Yeah,
we love good slander on the Sportsgasm podcast.
So, and my family's in Philly. I have friends that I go through Philly social media, everything. So, and over the past few years, we have defended him. We have said, just wait till he gets his jumper. It is over for y'all. And that's the only thing he was missing. And now, because we're mad that he passed the ball to Matisse, giving up an easy, wide open dunk when you were down 2 in Game 7 of the freaking playoffs, for Matisse to miss one of those 2 free throws because he's a second-year bench player, and you're supposed to be the number 2 guy that that passed the ball on a wide open dunk. Like, no. And then for him to request a trade, and then all of that, and then when we started finding him for not playing, he found a loophole, or his agent found a loophole that said if he claimed mental health, he wouldn't have to pay the fines. He wouldn't have to be fined but the Sixers, he wouldn't work with who the Sixers were trying to get him to work with. He did not put in that work. Don't forget that. He didn't work with any of the Sixers. So I am happy to see him gone. Good riddance. I will see you March 10th. I am going to that game, and I will see you there, and you're going to hear some boos. And in terms of Seth Curry and Andre Drummond, it kills me to see them go. Absolutely kills me. I think we made the Nets better, honestly. If you give Kyrie that vaccine, it's over. With Ben Simmons' defense, you don't need Ben to shoot. You don't. If you have KD, Kyrie, and Curry, those 3 guys, as well as Ben Simmons, like, we made them better.
You guys, I'd say you did, because in their debut, Seth Curry and Andre Drummond were key additions in the Nets victory 2 nights ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I think we can all agree. I think we'd agree the Nets won the trade deadline, and
I think both teams got what they wanted, because when you think about it, everybody was saying Ben Simmons is not a tradable player. He has no trade value, and we turned that into James Harden, former MVP. He rang the bell last night against the Celtics, when we lost by 48.
Let's pause and talk about that for a second. Y'all lost by 48 to the 48. Celtics.
48.
Yeah, Boston shot 25 threes, and you all only shot 25%. Yikes.
Ben Simmons numbers.
Yikes.
Ben Simmons came to haunt us. But it's really going to hurt to see Seth Curry. He was my favorite Sixer because I try not to have the best player or the fan favorite be my favorite. Just because they get enough love. And so he was my favorite Sixer. And I didn't want to see him go because you match him up with Harden, Embiid, Harris, and Maxey. Shit's over. Yeah. But I'm glad we managed to keep Thibault as well, or I guess Thibault. He is great defensively. So when Harden gets here after the All-Star break, because he is not going to play until after the All-Star break.
Right.
He's nursing a hamstring injury, put that in quotes. Yeah. So Harden, welcome to Philly. We already love you. Your jersey's on the way to my house. So can't wait for that. But Ben Simmons, see you March 10th.
I like the intensity. I like it.
And I say that with disdain in my eyes.
Ooh, yeah, I can tell. Ooh, fierce. A couple more NBA stuff to talk about. We'll just briefly mention it before we do a quick preview of the All-Star weekend, which I completely forgot was coming up this weekend. I've been getting so hyped for the Daytona 500. Big NASCAR fan here. I completely forgot that it's All-Star weekend. So, damn, this is gonna be a fun weekend. LeBron James became the all-time leading scorer in NBA history, passing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar both playoffs and regular season, I think. So,
congrats, Bron. How many of those were threes?
Ooh, okay. I see what we're doing. Adam Silver said he wants a mid-season tournament. Could be as soon as 2022, 2023, or the 2023, 2024 season. I actually am not a fan of this. Like MLS did this back during COVID, and it was great because it allowed them to do a little bubble and get their season restarted before they could go back to playing in their own stadiums. But it just feels like it's just giving out more trophies that aren't needed.
Well, here's so he said that this morning when I was watching Get Up, and they talked to him about the James Harden to Sixers and Ben Simmons to Brooklyn. And first of all, when that trade happened, Adam Silver actually hated it because he didn't want the trade requests and stuff like that to get into the media. He thinks it looks bad for basketball, and I agree. But going to this, he said he doesn't want to take away from the Larry O'Brien trophy. Just like the Premier League trophy does not take away from the Champions League trophy in European football, European soccer. So that's what he wants to do. He wants to bring something like that into the NBA, which I think would be really cool because it gives, and he said he wants watching a game for that long through 82 games is a lot. So being able to have a point other than the end goal and having a mid-season tournament, I think that'd be cool.
That's fair enough. It's fair enough. I of course I'm the contrarian here who I just don't like mid-season tournaments that interrupt with the flow of the season. But
I definitely see that argument. One thing but one thing I really want to see happen. I brought this up on Twitter like a few weeks ago. And what I want to see happen is in order to prevent tanking in the NBA specifically, because it's a little difficult in like places like the NFL where it's significantly more physical. But have a thing with the bottom four teams and have them each play for the first overall pick.
Interesting.
Because it prevents tanking in the sense that you're not guaranteed the first overall pick.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I've seen people argue about that, doing something similar like that with the Pro Bowl in the NFL by having the two worst teams play to determine who gets the first overall pick.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like tanking.
Neither do I.
It's nice when it works in my favor, like when the Eagles got the 6th overall pick when they lost to Washington when they threw that game.
I don't like that. Let's not bring that up.
It worked in our favor, but it just proves my point that tanking is atrocious.
Who'd y'all use that pick on, by the way?
We traded it to Miami, and we got Devontae Smith later on.
There you go. Okay, I thought that was the Jalen Reagor pick. I was about to say.
No.
No. So we have our thoughts on that. let's do a quick preview of All-Star Weekend. So I had to quickly look this up. It's going to, of course, kick off with the All-Star Celebrity Game, and here are your participants. Some interesting names. Kylie, have you seen this yet?
I actually haven't.
Okay, so I want to get your live reactions to this. So Team 1 will be coached by the legend himself, Bill Walton. Will feature singer-songwriter Jimmy Allen, TV host Brittany Elena, former rapper turned punk rocker, thanks to being completely schooled by Eminem that one time, Machine Gun Kelly.
Okay, first of all, no. He had already done alternative music.
But his career took a completely different path when Eminem took him to school.
Whatever. I had no idea MGK was going to be in it. That's awesome. I love him.
Yeah. Las Vegas Aces forward Derrick Hamby.
What?
Hell yeah. They always have WNBA players in there.
Hell yeah.
The Fanatics All-In Challenge winner Noah Carlock. Professional skateboarder and Olympian Nyjah Houston. From ABC's The Bachelor, Matt James.
Ugh.
Rapper and recording artist and the best celebrity basketball player I've ever seen, Quavo. Actor Ranveer Singh. And Peloton instructor Alex Toussaint. I recognize 3 people from that list.
Yeah, like...
It's okay, though. We'll recognize more when we see them.
And Peloton really, like...
Whatever. They're trying to repair their image after TV shows keep showing people having heart attacks using Pelotons. That's not even me making a joke. That's actually happened.
I know.
The other team
sponsored, by the way.
Yes, no sponsorship here. That being said, if anybody is listening and wants to sponsor us, please sponsor us.
Go for it. Yeah. Hit us up.
The second team will be coached by NBA legend Dominique Wilkes. Did I say that right? Was that Dominique Wilkes?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dominique Wilkins. Sorry, Dominique Wilkins. It will be led by Puerto Rican rapper Anuel AA. Mayor Justin Bibb, the mayor of Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh.
Singer-songwriter and country music star Kane Brown.
Nice.
Cleveland Brown defensive end Myles Garrett.
What?
Cleveland Cavaliers legend Boobie Gibson.
Wait, Myles Garrett?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, put him at center.
Comedian, actress, and author Tiffany Haddish.
Nice. I love Tiffany Haddish.
I like this team a lot more, especially for this next guy. That white boy that can rap, Jack Harlow. Harlem Globetrotters player Krista Jackson.
Yes.
Singer and songwriter Anjali Ranadive. I'm pretty much assured that I butchered that name.
Probably.
And Olympic high jump champion Gianmarco Tamberi.
So Italian.
So those are your celebrity all-stars. Let's see.
Man, I want Kevin Hart back. He was funny.
Here are the Rising Stars players. So there's going to be 4 teams. The first one, Team Barry, will have Cade Cunningham, my boy, Dyson Daniels, Evan Mobley, Isaac Okoro, Alperen Sengun. I think I said that right. Jashawn Tate and Franz Wagner. Team Isaiah will be Precious Achiuwa. Who? Desmond Bain, Sadiq Bey, Anthony Edwards, Tyrese Halliburton, Jaden Hardy, and Isaiah Stewart. Team Peyton will have LaMelo Ball, Scotty Barnes, Who is Ayo Dosunmu. I apologize. I am butchering these names. Chris Duarte, Scoot Henderson, Jonathan Kuminga, Jaden McDaniels, and Davion Mitchell. And Team Worthy will be Cole Anthony, Marchand Beauchamp. Say it again, Kylie. Say it with me. Who? Josh Giddey, Jalen Green, Herbert Jones, Tyrese Maxey, and Jalen Suggs.
It's over.
They'll play a little tournament, and that looks fun. On Saturday, there will be a NBA HBCU Classic game. Morgan State takes on Howard University College.
Nice.
Then Saturday night for the Taco Bell's Skill Challenge. Sorry, the Skills Challenge. We're not sponsored. The Skills Challenge. Team Rooks will be Scotty Barnes, Cade Cunningham, and Josh Giddey. Team Cavs will be Jarrett Allen, Darius Garland, and Evan Mobley. And Team... Oh, this is awesome. And Team Antetokounmpo will be Giannis, Alex, and Thanasis Antetokounmpo.
That's awesome.
I love it. I love the Untitled Bros.
Your 3-point contest competitors will be CJ McCollum, Trey Young, Zach LaVine, Desmond Bain, Karl Anthony Towns, Fred Van Vliet, Luke Kennard, and Patty Mills.
Look, as long as Trey doesn't win, I don't care.
Yeah.
I hate Trey Young.
Screw Trey Young.
Fuck Trey Young, disrespectfully.
Okay. Now let's keep it PG here. Here are your participants for the Slam Dunk Contest. Cole Anthony, Juan Toscano Anderson, Obi Toppin, and Jalen Green. And finally, here are your All-Star players to participate in the actual All-Star game. If I can find the list, which I am not finding. Here we go. Team Durant will be led by Kevin Durant, Joel Embiid, John Morant, Jason Tatum, Andrew Wiggins, Trey Young, LaMelo Ball, Devin Booker, Rudy Gobert, Zach LaVine, Chris Middleton, DeJounte Murray, Karl Anthony Towns, Draymond Green, and will be coached by Eric Spoelstra.
I'd like it to be known that KD picked Karl Anthony Towns because he wanted not Karl Anthony Towns. Who was it? I forget who it was, but he wanted them because he wanted size over James Harden. So just let that be known. That's what.
Got it. For Team LeBron, we have LeBron James, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Stephen Curry, DeMar DeRozan.
Game.
They put LeBron James in there twice. Interesting.
These two players.
There's two LeBron Jameses on this lineup. That's hilarious. Nikola Jokic, Jarrett Allen, Jimmy Butler, Luka Doncic, Darius Garland, James Harden, Donovan Mitchell, Chris Paul, Fred Van Vliet, and they'll be coached by Monty Williams.
James Harden will not be playing in the game.
Yes, he will not.
Yeah, Jarrett Allen. Jarrett Allen is playing in for him. But as he nurses a hamstring injury. But yeah, I mean it's game over. James is gonna win again.
I love NBA All-Star Weekend because they do it the best out of any of them. So excited to see what happens. Excuse me. Before we get on to Goobers of the Week, let's briefly talk about some MLB stuff. Today was supposed to be the official start of spring training. Thanks,
That's why I'm
Rob.
wearing my MLB jersey. That's why I'm wearing my Phillies jersey right now.
Yeah, I was gonna wear my Yankees jersey, but then I remembered we're trying to, we have a former Chiefs player coming on the podcast. So, yeah, thanks a lot, Rob Manfred. Spring training is officially delayed due to the lockouts.
Damn clown.
Ugh.
Goober.
The MLB is actually arguing that minor leaguers are going to stay unpaid in spring training. They said it is the players that obtain the greater benefit from their training opportunities that they are afforded than the clubs, which actually just incur the cost of having to provide that training. Can I get this? Can I get a rousing chant, pay the players chant going?
Can I get a rousing boo?
Yeah.
So Rob Manfred, or anybody involved in the MLB, if you are listening, first of all, hi. And second of all, that's disgusting. Like, you realize how little you pay the pro players. Like a lot of them have to share a 1-bedroom apartment just to be able to live because you pay them so little. So the fact that you're debating on not paying them at all when they're trying to live out their dreams that you're trying to give them, like, dude, pay your damn players. This is why they're in the lockout anyway. Pay your damn players.
It shouldn't be that hard. It shouldn't be that hard.
This is why the players are holding out and why they pay the players. I don't understand. You are a $1 billion industry. You can afford to continue to pay your players.
Just when you thought that baseball couldn't go lower, they always find a way.
They're ruining the sport. I love baseball, but they're ruining it.
I do too. And it's going to be hard to watch this year if it finally comes back because, you'll be supported. It's gross. Now, there was some sad news to come out of this last week.
Yes.
Jeremy Giambi passed away at 47. For those who don't know about Jeremy, let me just pull him up very quick. I should have had this up earlier because I'm dumb. So his death was ruled a suicide.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they suspect right now.
My coroner's office said suspect suicide. Jeremy played from 1998 to 2003. He began his career with the Royals. He was best known during his time with the Philadelphia Athletics. If you ever watched the movie Moneyball, he plays a key role in that film. He also had stints with the Phillies in 2002 and ended his career with the Red Sox. So our deepest condolences to his family, his brother, Jason. So yes, tragic. Another. This is also kind of sad, but it's related. So Tyler Skaggs, the Angels pitcher who died of an overdose. There's currently been an investigation ongoing into that, and former Angels player Matt Harvey testified on rampant drug and steroid use in the Angels clubhouse leading up to Skaggs' death. So that's concerning.
I mean, why do people have to do that? I mean,
addiction is a powerful disease. I mean,
yeah.
Like I'm watching this show right now on HBO Max called Euphoria. Have you heard of it? It's a good show. But it does a great job of painting addiction and just how much of a disease and the toll it takes. So yeah. I'd relate that to this. One last little thing of news we should bring up is that Ryan Zimmerman, Mr. National, officially retired after his career. Spent his entire career with the Nationals from 2005 to 2021. Two-time All-Star, World Series champion, Gold Glove Award winner, and twice won a Silver Slugger.
Yes.
We wish him the best in retirement. And Kylie, I have to ask, is he a Hall of Famer?
So here's the thing. He was the Nationals' first draft pick, and that's why he's known as Mr. National.
Right.
And growing up in the DMV and being a Phillies fan, he has been a pain in my ass ever since he got into the league. The Nationals are one of my least favorite teams, specifically because I'm a Phillies fan. But I always liked him, although he was a National, and I wish him nothing but the best. I don't know off the top of my head if he's a Hall of Famer or not. I'd like to think he is. I'd like to see him get in, but I don't know.
Unfortunately, I don't think he has enough of
yeah. But
doesn't have enough of a resume to get in.
Yeah. But speaking of Nationals, this is where our big news ties in.
Ooh.
I had gotten a tweet as we were recording that said, and I'll get this in the exact wording. Juan Soto of the Nationals turned down a 13-year, $350 million contract extension from the Nationals before the lockout.
What?
And Soto himself confirmed that.
Why?
Jeff Passan said the notion of Juan Soto receiving the first $500 million contract in American professional team sports is not far-fetched. He'll be 26. There's already a $43 million a year player in his former teammate Scherzer. If he stays healthy and productive, it's realistic. As a Phillies fan, please get out of the NL East.
Huh.
Please.
What if he comes to Philly?
Hell yeah. Him and Bryce piss off DC fans more. Yeah, absolutely. I will pay that contract myself.
You don't have that money.
I will make sure I do.
You don't have that money.
I will make sure I do though. I will get that money. But that is definitely something to watch as we hopefully progress into more MLB PA talks. Because they're not allowed to talk right now. So maybe he denied that for a bigger contract and they were going to discuss it, but the MLB lockout happened. So maybe they couldn't. I don't know that much about it and nothing has been reported about it. All I know is that he did deny this contract and he confirmed it himself.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well,
it's something I personally expected because they were out of playoff contention since before the All-Star break last year. So I don't know if he's going to be a forever national.
We'll have to see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's going to wrap it up for us here. Goober of the Week award, as always, is going to go to Rob Manfred, especially this week. Also, give a shout out to Eli Apple for getting completely burnt and getting me good and drunk at my Super Bowl party. We were playing a game. Every time Eli Apple gets burnt or something cool happens, we had a whole list of things we were doing. You take a shot. Yeah, Eli Apple got burnt one too many, and I ended up on the floor. So fun times.
Twitter was going crazy, and I absolutely loved it.
Eli Apple got his good comeuppance in that game.
And people were feeling bad, but they were like, you know what? If he can dish it out, he better be able to take it when it comes back.
That is
and
true.
That's true.
That is true. Kylie, you want to take us home?
Absolutely. That concludes this week's episode of the Sportsgasm podcast. Again, thank you so much, TJ, for hopping on this week. You were awesome. It was a lot of fun. If you guys liked what you heard, tune in next week and maybe check out that support button on Anchor to help us grow and improve. You can comment questions on our TikTok videos and YouTube, and we can respond and stuff like that, get you interacting with us. You can watch this on YouTube and listen to it on Spotify. If you want more content from us, like follow us on Twitter and TikTok. We don't really post on Instagram, but you can follow us there as well. We'll be asking questions for future episodes and posting them and stuff like that as well to get you guys involved. See you guys next week.
Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for supporting. You are the best. We will see you next week. And if you ever want to show up, let us know. Talk to us. We will 100% welcome you with open arms, and we will welcome your hot takes as well.
Yes, sir. Have a good one, guys. See you next week.
Later.